Story number 29. Life in the 400s AD. The year is 403 AD, and there are 7 kingdoms here. There are 4 good kingdoms and 3 corrupt kingdoms. The 3 good kingdoms are the Trinitarian kingdom, the Complementarian kingdom, the Sola Fide kingdom, and the Biblical Inerrancy kingdom. The 3 corrupt kingdoms are the Modalist kingdom, the Egalitarian kingdom, and the Antinomian kingdom. The 4 good kingdoms are safe places to live, as in these kingdoms they have a high quality of life, the people there are very nice, and are truly devoted to the Lord. The buildings in these 4 kingdoms are very nicely structured, and they are struck with the least natural disasters. These kingdoms also have very good schools and colleges. The job opportunities here are very good, and these kingdoms have a good economy. The people in these kingdoms also eat healthy diets and work out on a regular basis. The Sola Fide kingdom is the best of all the kingdoms. The 3 corrupt kingdoms are dangerous places to live, as in these kingdoms they have a low quality of life, the people are rude, and they also claim to be Christian but live double lives. And to add fuel to the fire, these kingdoms are struck by natural disasters the worst. The kingdoms also have a bad education system because heresies are taught in schools, especially the heresies the 3 corrupt kingdoms were named after. The Antinomian kingdom is the worst of all the kingdoms, as that kingdom is extremely rebellious. Bear in mind that all 7 kingdoms designate the years that are a multiple of 100 as the first year of each century, with the exception of the first century, as there was no year 0. All 7 kingdoms have temperate weather year-round, as the average day temperature is 24 degrees Celsius, and the average night temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. In 400 AD, the 4 good kingdoms set forth a new proclamation that requires every village to have at least 1 church, as before this proclamation, there were a few villages that unfortunately didn't have a church. Then 3 years later, it was now the 4th year of the 400s, as the year is 403 AD, and the new year has already arrived. On Thursday, January 1st, people celebrated the start of a brand new year. At this time, everything was peaceful in between the 7 kingdoms. Everyone was spending time with their families and friends. They had awesome feasts and prepared special dishes. There is a kind young man named Josephus Aquinas, who lived in the Sola Fide kingdom. He went out to the marketplace at 15th hour, which is the equivalent of 3 p.m. He went to buy some vegetables, olive oil, sourdough bread, and sweet sourdough bread, which is sweetened with honey, cinnamon, and raisins. On his way back home, he met a kind young woman who is 4 years younger than him. The woman's name is Claudia Augustine. Claudia wanted to get to know Josephus for the possibility of courtship. Claudia was visiting from the Trinitarian kingdom, which borders the Sola Fide kingdoms in the north. After Josephus went home, he enjoyed some of his favorite pastimes like spending time in nature, drawing, and playing fun games with his neighbors. On Saturday, January 3rd, at 12th hour, Josephus went hiking at the nearby park, and he was surprised to see Claudia there, and she asked him if he wanted to enjoy a picnic with her. And then they both enjoyed a fun picnic together. At this moment, they began the courtship. After the picnic, they went hiking. At the picnic, they both enjoyed garden salads with a side of sweet sourdough bread. On Sunday, February 1st, Josephus became the new pastor of Bellefied Church, which is in the village of Bellefied. Bellefied is a village in the Sola Fide kingdom, This village is in the north of, on the border in between the Solifide Kingdom and the Trinitarian Kingdom. Bellified has a population of around 1,200 people. As the weeks went by, Josephus preaches biblically solid sermons. Preached biblically solid sermons. In 408 AD, Josephus Aquinas got married to Claudia. Claudia went from being Claudia Augustine to being Claudia Aquinas. The day on which they both married was on Sunday, February 16th, 408 AD. Josephus preaches about what it really means to follow Jesus Christ, and he also preaches sermons exposing the corruption that is practiced by the three corrupt kingdoms. Across the seven kingdoms, everything was all fun and games until the year 417 AD arrived. In late February 417 AD, tensions were rising in between the four good kingdoms and the three corrupt kingdoms, as a result of horrific threats that came from the corrupt kingdoms. People across the four good kingdoms often had to evacuate into the woods every time they received threats from the three corrupt kingdoms. This was going on for 6.5 weeks. Sadly, in April 417 AD, a war started out in between the four good kingdoms and the three corrupt kingdoms, and several men who were in between the ages of 20 and 35 were drafted into the war, and they fought for their kingdoms. On May 3rd, 417 AD, the egalitarian kingdom attempted to ambush the complementarian kingdom, and then the ambush was deflected back onto the egalitarian warriors, as they could not withstand the strength that the complementarian warriors have. Then, 14 days later, the antinomian warriors were plotting to ambush the Solifide warriors, and as the antinomian warriors picked up their subpar weapons, they were now being ambushed by the Solifide warriors, who stormed in with stronger weapons. The most severe ambush attempt came later that same day, when the modalist warriors attempted to kill a lot of innocent citizens of the Trinitarian Kingdom. But fortunately, the Trinitarian warriors prevented that from happening by ambushing the modalist warriors and chasing them back to their corrupt kingdom. The war went on for months, and 417 AD ended up being a terrible year for the Seven Kingdoms, due to the harsh war in between the four good kingdoms and the three corrupt kingdoms. On August 9th, 417 AD, the Antinomian kingdom launched fiery darts into the biblical inerrancy kingdom. But then the biblical inerrancy warriors came together and used their strong shields to protect themselves. Then the biblical inerrancy warriors fired the fiery darts into the Antinomian kingdom, and some of the Antinomian warriors were injured because their shields are weaker and therefore not as effective. Josephus Aquinas did not serve in the war, but he continued preaching sermons on a weekly basis during such a treacherous time. He preached sermons that talked about how to deal with hardships and how we should keep our eyes on Jesus Christ during the storms that we will sometimes go through in life. These sermons, which were preached every Sunday morning and Wednesday nights, were the times when the people in Bellified felt the most comfortable, as they were enjoying the biblical truths that Josephus preached from the pulpit. Then in late January 418 AD, the intense war finally came to an end, and the four good kingdoms won the war, as their warriors were stronger than the warriors from the three corrupt kingdoms. The people across the three corrupt kingdoms were no The three corrupt kingdoms were no more, as they were now owned by the good kingdoms, and are therefore going to be redeemed. The modalist kingdom was renamed to the Modesty Kingdom. The Antinomian Kingdom was renamed to the Christian Liberty Kingdom, and the Egalitarian Kingdom was renamed to the Covenant Kingdom. At this moment, what used to be the three corrupt kingdoms were now redeemed, and the buildings in those kingdoms were rebuilt. On top of this, those three kingdoms received new kings who hold to sound doctrine. The majority of the people in those three kingdoms repented of their lukewarmness, and they began to truly live for the Lord. The schools and colleges in those three kingdoms now teach sound doctrine, and they also set forth a proclamation that requires a church to be in every village. Now all 7 kingdoms are good, as the 3 kingdoms there that used to be corrupt are no longer corrupt. There was now a beautiful unity in between all 7 of the kingdoms. Years and years went by as people across these kingdoms got along with each other and did business with each other. On April 6th, 470 AD, the Covenant Kingdom set forth a new proclamation for a new work week that is going to be Mondays through Thursdays from 9th hour through 15th hour. Before this proclamation, their old work week was Mondays through Fridays from 9th hour through 15th hour. The Covenant Kingdom was also the last kingdom to adopt this new work week, as the other 6 kingdoms did so in between the years 463 AD and 469 AD. The first kingdom to adopt this new work week was the Sola Fide Kingdom, which adopted it on January 7th, 463 AD. Then, as years continued to go by, there was gentrification that was taking place across the 7 kingdoms. Entertainment, business, and tourism made improvements, and these kingdoms have a bright future ahead. In 492 AD, the ministries in these 7 kingdoms sent missionaries to other kingdoms near them where people have never heard the gospel. Fortunately, all of the missionaries preached sound doctrine, and they preached what it truly means to follow Jesus Christ. Then in December of 499 AD, it was the last year of the 400s. People across the 7 kingdoms were looking forward to what the 500s had in store for them. Then finally on January 1st, 500 AD, people across the 7 kingdoms were celebrating the start of the 500s, aka the 6th century AD. And they loved how the 400s, aka the 5th century AD, was a very good century, with the exception of the intense war that ran its course from April 417 AD through January 418 AD. The best thing that happened in the 400s was when 3 of the kingdoms that used to be corrupt were redeemed in January 418 AD after the war ended.